Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm here to give you guys a little review or my intake on the Canon EF 50mm f1.8 lens. Now, I've had my camera for about almost 2 to 3 weeks now, and I've been messing around with it more and more, and as I became fascinated in the photography world, I'm like, hey, let me start looking at some lenses. So, as I'm getting recommendations from more professional photographers and videographers, one of your first lens purchases should be a prime lens, which is this lens here. So I decided to go to B&H, or you can look online. Maybe sometimes you maybe find a good deal, like maybe on buy.com or Amazon and so forth and so on. The cheapest I've seen this lens go for was about $350 on Amazon. I missed out on that deal because waited too slow to buy it, but then it averages about $400. So decided to go to B&H, and it'll be a lot easier instead of waiting for it to ship. Anyhow, here's the lens itself right here, and I was actually looking at this lens and its cheaper younger brother, which is the same 50mm lens, but instead of f1.4 it's f1.8, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper. It's basically only $100 while this is $400. So why did I go with this over the f1.8? Well, for one, it lets in about 67% more light than its younger brother, and the build quality is significantly better. I've heard reports, or I've read people who actually purchased the f1.8, and they say literally, if you look at this thing wrong or just bump it wrong or just let it just boom, the glass will just fall right out of it. So I definitely don't want that. If you want to be cheap, you can go ahead and do that, but with questionable build quality like that, I wouldn't recommend it, because even though you're saving about what, $300, it is not worth it if it's just going to break down on you. Anyhow, with this lens here, I shot a few sample pictures to give you guys an example of what you're getting into, and I have to tell you, the quality of this lens is extremely sharp. Like the pictures that this thing takes, I was just blown away by. And the reason why I think the pictures come out so sharp, since the aperture is extremely wide and it's extremely fast lens, it lets in about what, then your kit lens here. I'm right here, I'm reviewing this on my Canon EOS, and I'm using my kit lens, and it goes up to focal length 50mm, but why would I get this, which is at a set rate of 50, while my kit goes from 18 to 135? Well, it's simple. This lets in about 16 times more light, and it's significantly better at taking photos, especially in low light situations. So I don't have to worry about adjusting the lighting, or I won't get as fuzzy or as noisy images than I would with my kit lens. Now, the only thing I kind of don't like about this lens that kind of makes it a bother, and this is more for more professional like, is it's not image stabilized. So it's kind of hard. Like when I take my shots, unless I have my shutter speed at a quick intake speed, if I have a slower shutter rate, it's extremely hard to get steady shots. Most of my shots come out shaky. I'm not a professional, I'm still amateurish myself. So what I wind up doing is, when I go take lots of shots, or if I'm trying to film with this lens here, I would have a tripod on standby. That way I can have more steady shots. And also, the bright side about this lens, most lens you would have, when you have your autofocus and your manual focus, most people know that when you have your lens on autofocus, you can't adjust the focus on the lens because the motor locks it in place, and you hear like the click, 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 click loud sound. So, you know, if you go against autofocus, you run a risk of damaging your motor. And this lens here, you don't have to worry about that. It actually allows you to focus manually while leaving the camera in autofocus. Now, after doing extensive testing and going around shooting some sample shots, I found that it's a lot simpler to manually focus, because sometimes the autofocus on this lens is just horrible. It'll just constantly zoom in and out, zoom in and out, zoom in and out. If something in its way, or if a little tiny string, or if it detects something that it won't focus correctly on, it constantly zooms in and out. Now, I like to go on about the plastic body. The body of it, like I said, not as cheap as the f1.8, but it's still plastic, but it's much heftier, much more sturdy. Now, you should do your own testing. You know, you can always don't completely take my word for it. You know, going to a video photo store who sell lenses, and you know, grab the two, compare them, and see how you like for yourself. Let yourself be the personal judge, and if it's to your approval, then go with what your budget says. You know, if you can't afford to spend $4 on a lens, then go with the f1.8. My suggestion is, you know, you just take real good care of it. Just don't let anything happen to it, and it'll be a great spend of $100, because you're pretty much going to get virtually around the same performance as far as photography and filming goes. So I'm gonna show you a couple of sample photos. I went to Central Park earlier this week to get to test out this lens, and I was pleased with some of the shots I've got. Some of them came out blurry, but I'm gonna show you the best shots that I got, and I'm gonna give you an example of the excellent depth of field that you get out of this lens, and how it does well at its set focal length. So here's a couple sample shots, and I'm also going to show you a quick video sample of how this lens perform. Anyhow, if you like my video, you know, please check out my channel. Send me a comment. Any other questions you may have, you know, just write in the message box. I'm always happy to answer questions. Anything I may have missed out on. Like I said, I'm not professional. This is my intake of the lens. I know I'm probably missing a lot of information, but you know, just giving you guys an idea of what you can expect from the EF 50mm Canon lens. You know. Oh, and before I show you the sample shots, I want to let you guys know what USM stand for, because I'm also a rookie at lenses, and I had to look this up myself. It stands for ultrasonic motor, meaning it's extremely quiet. So when you put the camera in autofocus and it's zooming in and out, you don't get that loud like the cheaper lens will get. You'll get like a nice little quiet. You won't really hear it yourself, especially if you're outside, out and about doing your thing. But anyhow, here's so I'm shooting a video sample of the Canon lens EF 50mm f1.4, and from my little testing of a few videos I've been shooting, it's very sharp, it's very crisp, it's very clear. The depth of field is excellent. I actually love it for shooting video, but you have downsides to it. Since the lens is not image stabilized, you're gonna have a lot of trouble constantly focusing in and out of subjects that you're trying to focus on. So when you're walking around, especially if you're not using a tripod or anything to keep the camera steady, you're gonna wind up finding yourself do this a lot, adjusting on the subjects like so. So you may want to invest in a decent tripod. Well, most people have tripods anyway, so you're gonna have to use your tripod to keep the camera steady, so you won't have shaky footage. Or you may want to invest into a dolly. That way you can have moving shots that are steady. And to give you an idea of the focal length or the set length, I have a 2010 MacBook Pro here. I'm just gonna open it, show you how it looks from this set length that I have it, and then as you can see at the focus length, I'm kind of blurred, and as I come into perspective, how crisp and clear my hand looks to the MacBook. So yeah, definitely shoots very excellent video in my personal opinion.